Alton Towers is one of the UK's best theme parks, but sadly it's located near Birmingham.
Birmingham is a
And it hosts some of the UK's best rides, including the Smiler, Nemesis Reborn, Wickerman, hell, maybe even Rita.
Oh my god, bro.
But today, I decided to rank them against each other to see which one is the best. And sorry, but spoiler alert, Octonaut is not number one. I know, devastating, right? Anyway, before we start, please like and subscribe. It would make my day. And at the number 10 spot is a ride that we've already briefly talked about. And that is Octonaut's Rollercoaster Adventure. A fun and smooth looking kiddie coaster that I've not been on because number 1, I'm not 3 years old. And number 2, I'm not that credit hungry. And number 3, when I went to Alton Towers, I was with my dad. So do you actually think he'd think, yes, let's go to Octonaut's Rollercoaster Adventure now. Anyway, it has a few small turns and dips before flying into the brakes. And there's nothing else about this besides it's Octonaut. Yeah, next coaster. And at number 9 is a ride that I find pretty fun. And that is Runaway M Train. A Mac-powered coaster. This is alright. I can't remember it too vividly, given that I haven't been on it in 3 years, but from my memory, it was pretty good. Although, I do remember the transition into the tunnel being quite aggressive, and then I think I might have got a headache from smacking into my mum. But the main part about this ride is every time you go through the station, the ride operator says, you know what I'm gonna say? Choo choo. And at number 8 is Spinball Wiz, a Mauer spinning coaster that, like Octonaut, I've not been on. Anyway, it looks fun, you spin around a lot, and it used to be Sonic Spinball. This ride doesn't stand out to me, and I'm not that bothered that I didn't go on it, because it was closed, not because I wussed out. At number 7 is quite a polarising ride, and that is Rita. The entire gimmick of this ride is the 0 to 60 in 2.5 second launch, but after that it's just followed by a series of boring banked turns and what should be an airtime hill, except you get stapled too much. It's really nothing to write home about. At number 6 is 13. Look, it's just a family coaster with an extremely trimmed drop, except for the fact that it has a drop track in one of the buildings. Sorry for the spoiler, it's been, I don't know, over a decade.
That ride was a bit timid. At least it's time now to get off. Apparently, little jolt there. Okay, let's go. Ah! Oh! Oh! Ah!
There's not much else to say about this ride. At number 5 is a ride that a lot of people love, but I just find a little bit overrated. Oblivion. The world's first vertical drop roller coaster that technically isn't a vertical drop. Anyway, one of the best things about this ride is the theming. All throughout the queue line there are these different screens that are playing these videos of, I forgot his name, it's like the Man of Darkness or something. Anyway, after that you get onto the train and you start to climb up the 60-foot lift hill. You do a 90-degree left-hand turn and then you go down into Oblivion. It is such a cool sensation. It feels like you're floating in the air and it's just so cool. Sadly though, after the drop, there's literally nothing else besides a small little turn into the brake run. Wait, what's that?
Oh my god, bro.
Oblivion deodorant? That's a bit weird. Wait, what? Oblivion con... At number 4 is a very smooth and graceful ride that I find pretty fun, and that is Galactica, the world's first B&M flying coaster. I think this ride is overhyped. A lot of people absolutely love it, and I just don't get the hype. It's fun, but there's really not much to it. It's pretty forceless. Anyway, I enjoyed it when I went on it, but I did go on it in the morning, so it must have been running pretty slow. Anyway, next coaster. And at number 3 is a ride that I find pretty demented. And that is the Smiler, the world's first roller coaster with 14 inversions. This ride is there to stretch the limits, and I think that's where some of its flaws shine through. This feels more like an endurance test than a fun ride.
Join us.
That is one of my favourite starts to a ride ever. And then, of course, it's followed by a barrel roll into this little station here. But the music is so annoying. Listen. Anyway, I find this ride pretty rough and pretty overrated, to be honest. Loads of people love this, but it's just the inversions and that's it. And, as I stated, if it's rough, then you're going to be hitting your head a lot on these lateral focused inversions. And that's just not my cup of tea. Anyway, you start to crest over the lift hill slowly. You go into a right-hand bank turn into your first inversion, and wait, send that back. This view sums up the entire ride. Just a mangle of track with a bunch of inversions. I genuinely think that it's so funny that the best part about this ride is not an inversion, but an airtime hill. Anyway, time for the top 2. Now, for the top 2, I really couldn't decide which one was better. So for this, I'm just going off of general consensus. So, at the number 2 spot is Wickerman, a GCI Woody with immaculate theming that I absolutely love. For what, on its base level, is literally just a family coaster, it does so much. And it literally starts the ride with a pre-show. This is one of the best in the world. Hell, I can even quote the pre-show. The time has come for the Wickerman to rise. Together we shall feed the flames. Good, wasn't it? Anyway, after that, you board the train and start your journey up the lift hill, which is very weird because it's slanted. I really love this ride. I would thoroughly recommend it, and until I ride Megaphobia, this is for now my favourite UK Woody. Sorry, Pleasure Beach, none of yours are that good. And finally, in first place, the best roller coaster at Alton Towers is Nemesis Reborn. Now this ride is absolutely great. I absolutely adored this. The theming is top notch. It's smooth, unless you sit on a wing seat. It's not a wing seat, but it's an outside seat. It's really whippy. And back onto the theming, Alton Towers have really stepped up their theming game. There's literally a ride next door that has been there before, but is linked to the new Phalanx storyline that is in the Nemesis brand, Nemesis Subterra. Come on, no other ride at Towers has that, does it? Oh well, I loved every single second of this ride, and I remember being on the actual ride, I think straight after the vertical loop, and saying, I love this, or something like that, or saying, this is better than Icon. I now disagree with that, sort of. Overall, this is an absolute experience of a ride, and in the UK, I don't think it can be matched, experience-wise, And yeah, that is my ranking for Alton Towers coasters. Please let me know your opinions in the comments. I know most people would disagree with this list, so I'd like to hear what you think. Anyway, bye for now.